Hello and welcome to my channel. If you do not know who I am, I go by Strange Online, and today we're going to be creating a piece for my 100 subscriber special. Now I know 100 subscribers isn't that big of a milestone, but I still wanted to create something in appreciation for those of you who have stuck around and watched my content. Due to popular vote, which I think was like only 3 votes, but let's pretend it was more, we're going to be recreating one of my old arts, and we're actually going to be going through some of my old arts, so please strap in for that. Now, I do have to give a warning. This is my first piece that I created for YouTube specifically, because years before this, I was creating YouTube videos. I have privated/deleted most of them now, but this is definitely a blast from the past. Then we have this piece, which I was kind of learning from how to draw anime books, so the boobs were looking a little weird. I don't know, they drew them that way, so I just kind of mimicked that style. Of course, we have to talk about the emo phase in 2018, where I was kind of into this like pastel gore sort of thing, and this was very poorly created. I doubt that I was really giving much mind to this. Then, of course, we have some of the cool outfits that I wanted to wear when I was younger, which is just basically some stuff that I thought was trendy and just cool. I also wanted to be a fashion designer when I was younger, and luckily I have given up on that dream. What would be a 2016, 17, 18 thing to do than have a list of everything I wanted to draw? I just found this list. I don't think I'm going to draw this specifically, but I was looking at some of the options and I decided against it because I couldn't find anything, that I could copy. Now, this next piece was especially painful for me. This is, I don't know, I used to draw eyes really big, guys. This is one of the most heinous examples I can give you. Just the way that everything is unproportionate is truly monstrous, but I don't think this is quite good enough to recreate. And of course, we have the My Hero phase, which was very strong. Of course, I love My Hero now, but I kind of chilled out after this. I thought this would be a cool piece to recreate, but I thought it may be more for a Halloween special. I'm not 100% sure, but let me know if I should come back to this idea. So I continued to just flip through all of these pieces. I wasn't really called to one because I was basically mass producing these. They probably took each not too long in between. I thought this Kirishima one was cute though. Of course, we have to go through the emo deku art. I can't explain it. Then I wasn't really finding much with that sketchbook, so I decided to pull another one, and I really hate the cover of this. This was made in 2020, 2021, definitely during quarantine era. Everybody was playing Animal Crossing, and I was drawing a lot. This I thought was also a cool piece. I like the glowing effect I made. Then I saw these fusion arts, which I actually still liked. I thought these were not too bad. These were pretty cool, and honestly, I would love to make a video where I just made fusions of crossovers, so let me know if that's something you guys are interested in as well. Now, I'm gonna let the actual me take on the responsibility of my reaction. I just hit the jackpot. What the fuck am I looking at right now? It's slowly getting worse. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. Holy shit. Oh my god. Now that's enough of that. You could tell that by then I was kind of over looking through all these sketchbooks, and I decided to land back on this Bakugo fan art. There was a lot of things that was wrong with this, especially just the emo slash face, half and half. I definitely wanted to do something about that. It was a little bit of a dated idea. Of course, I wanted to give an example of what my art kind of looks like now for those of you who are new here. I decided to make this a bit of a challenge though, and you'll see later on. First, I wanted to start off with the sketch. I knew that I wanted to zoom into Bakugo's kind of expression because that was the main point of the whole art piece, and I had a really big problem with scaling when I was younger. I decided I wanted to fill this page with his face, so he's definitely gonna have to be zoomed in. Another thing is that I didn't want to change too much about the original piece color-wise. I wanted it to still kind of have this color blocking thing to it. But I wanted to give a reason for why there's a huge ash shadow on his face. So I decided to place his hand kind of blocking out the sun so that there was a reason why there would be this kind of abstract color blocking on his face. I continued with the hands. I was having a little bit of trouble with his gloves just because I couldn't really find a good reference preference. But other than that, I think that it looks okay and good enough. Now this piece, I'll be honest, isn't the best piece I've ever recreated. And I think it's because I added to the challenge by not using acrylic markers. I feel like using acrylic markers would be too easy. I wanted to use something specifically that I only had back in the day, which I think at that point I already did have alcohol markers, but they were kind of the cheap kind, and I used color pencils a lot as well. For that piece specifically, the original piece was used with alcohol markers and I think liner, so that's what I tried to go with. I also added some color pencils because I just wanted to add sort of this softness to him. And then I had to look at him while he was looking at me creating this piece. He was a little creepy, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Either way, I continued. One problem I do have with this piece, biggest problem, and it's his hair. I was drawing this kind of weirdly. I don't know what happened, but his hair ended up being huge compared to like the actual scale that his hair is in the show. Either way, I went in with these alcohol markers, and I've already used these in the past on this channel, but I always get nervous when I'm using these alcohol markers because they tend to bleed a lot. These are not like Copics, these are kind of a cheap brand. It can be pretty scary when you're using cheap brands of alcohol marker because they just love to bleed everywhere, so you have to be extra gentle. As you can see here, I'm kind of following the same exact color scheme. So far, I haven't really changed anything, and that's just because I want to stay true to the actual piece and what I was trying to do initially. I had a really big habit of creating these pieces where it was like this emo half and half. It was a big thing in like the 2010s. If anybody remembers like the fan art that was being created for literally any fandom, it just was not like, it just reeked of like my teenage phase, but I kind of low-key love it because it's just so nostalgic and just like, wow, you like drew this and had probably a straight face while you were drawing this. But I think that's kind of the beauty of like growing up. You kind of just discover more parts of yourself where you're just like, this actually is not me anymore. But it's kind of funny to think that at some point in my life, I was creating like emo art about like MHA and like My Little Pony. Let's not talk about the My Little Pony art because I specifically avoided that just because I haven't drawn ponies in a long time. And secondly, I don't think it would be really relevant to the type of art I make now. But let me know if you guys are interested in seeing some of that stuff. I might do it, I might not. It really depends. One thing that I definitely made a mistake on was not allowing that yellow to dry because it started to bleed immediately into the orange. So you might see that at the final piece, you might not, who knows. Now I haven't actually done line art in quite a while, not in the traditional sense. I've been using my acrylic markers a lot, and with that acrylic, I use it to also line my art. The line art is typically way thicker, so I kind of had to use these color pencils very hard but also soft. It was a bit of a challenge because it just felt so long since I actually created some just basic line art that isn't just a sketch or isn't just acrylic marker that I could go over again. It was more so solid and kind of permanent, so I had to be more careful. I was really liking the way that this shadowed version of Bakugo was looking. I thought that his expression was good. I thought that everything was looking nice. And then I went in with this Micron. Now, I haven't used a Micron in forever. It's been a while. I've mainly just been using like basic pens to do line art if I ever do, because I like the sketchiness of it, and microns feel very imposing sometimes. These are line art pens. I definitely don't want to mess up with these. So I did the line art little by little just because it was really like cramping my hand. I haven't made actual line art in a while, as I said, so I decided to jump between both making line art and doing the shading with this color pencil. As you can see, I did it for the blue side. I liked the way it looked, and I decided to do it for that unshadowed side of him. I think I was also having difficulties because this isn't typically the type of art I make anymore. I don't really color block as much. If I do, it's mainly for sketching. I really do like using my vibrant colors nowadays, so I just kind of felt a little outside my comfort zone. But I felt like if I was going to recreate this and I was going to be fair about it, I had to make it a challenge for me, because I couldn't just take some acrylics and just recreate the art, because I know that back in the day I had struggles as well, and I still struggle making art. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like the messiah or anything, but adding something to make things difficult felt like evening the playing field for my past. Again, look at that hair, really big. I didn't see it until I was basically done with the piece, and I was like, wow, I actually don't even know how I would be able to fix this, because this is like line art permanently black pen. Either way, I continued along, and I was doing this shading for his skin. It was just a little too dark for my liking, so I took an eraser and I kind of erased it. That's a little fun fact, guys. You can erase color pencil. It doesn't erase all the way, but it does create this kind of soft, smudged look to your piece if you ever are interested in doing that. Then I decided that I didn't want to exactly use the micron again for his hands. I decided to use yet again some more color pencils for the line art. I just like the look that it gave it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really have an excuse for not using the micron here. I just wasn't really feeling the micron anymore. I think the hands do look a little wonky. I'm not 100% proud of it, but I think that it's a good step in the right direction. His hands were a little weird because it felt like I was making like mannequin hands, because his gloves has that effect where like each of his knuckles are separated and his thumb is separated and just everything. But either way, I still wanted to get it right. Later on, I do add highlights to his glove, and at this point, if you're wondering why he has the wrong colored glove, I was actually thinking that this is sort of like giving the effect of him using his powers, his explosion powers, and creating a burst of light. I thought this could also be the cause of the shadow over his face, and between you and me, I really wanted to just see two complementary colors together. And then I know I said I wasn't going to use acrylic, but I just had to at the end. I love using like acrylics to make backgrounds because they're pretty solid and it just makes it kind of look complete. So I wouldn't consider this cheating just because it's for the background and it's not for the actual art. I guess it is a part of the art, but I hope you guys will let me slide with this one. I want to again thank everybody who has stuck around and watched my art for however long you've been subscribed to the channel. I know some people probably have subscribed for many years now, and it's kind of cool that you guys probably remember all those old videos I made. and let's not talk about it. Or maybe your channels are dead and you haven't logged in a while, but it's still nice to think that at some point somebody cared to see what I made. I added my signature, of course, and just added these final details, and with that, I was done. Thank you for watching this video. I had so much fun recreating this, and it's just interesting to see how I re-implemented this idea. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking the video and subscribing. Whether you're following along, making art with me, or just watching the video, it has been so much fun to start this channel from scratch and just do whatever I want and draw whatever I want and just have all these ideas on the same platform. Thank you again and have a wonderful day, guys. For real. Bye!